The past 2 seasons, Christian McCaffrey's been one of the country's biggest playmakers. McCaffrey's biggest asset is his versatility, where he set a new NCAA record in 2015 with 3,864 all-purpose yards as a guy who can beat you as a running back, wide receiver, and return man. But after an injury-riddled junior season in 2016, McCaffrey's hype and draft stock seemed to take a hit. Still, in one of the deepest running back classes we've seen in years, I'm here to show you why McCaffrey will undoubtedly be one of the best of the bunch when it's all said and done. Let's jump to the tape. I'll show you what I mean. With his smallish size and lack of strength, power running is never going to be McCaffrey's bread and butter. So when it came to inside runs and getting tough in between the tackles, I was skeptical heading into the film, but what I saw impressed me. The first thing that stood out to me is just how patient McCaffrey is, allowing his blockers to get out in front and let the play develop. In a game of speed, even just a quick shuffle or stutter step in the backfield catches the linebackers off guard and gives this old line a fraction longer to seal. Working smarter, not harder. Whether it's inside or outside, McCaffrey's staple attribute is his smooth athletic glide and choppy yet fluid feet to dice through the first level of the defense while getting small and skinny in traffic. McCaffrey is so good at maneuvering in these tight spaces with body control and shifty quickness. With a great lateral burst, McCaffrey's instincts always seem to take over, springing him back out into open space where he's most dangerous. While you can clearly see some of these runs, McCaffrey had solid blocking up front and a scheme that helped maximize his skill set. Yet, the more tape you watch, the more you get the understanding that it's really McCaffrey himself creating these plays past the first level, because with McCaffrey, there's no wasted movements, and he's highly efficient, making sure every one of those steps serves a bigger purpose to ultimately set up his next 2 and 3 moves. What'd you think was going to happen? While McCaffrey's playing chess, your defense is playing checkers. McCaffrey has an instinct to him that knows when to slow the play down and when to speed it back up. And while it looks minuscule on tape, in reality, it's the difference between being brought down at the line of scrimmage or getting that extra block and springing loose for another string of yards, like on this stretch play, how he initially speeds up to the edge only to kick it into a lower gear, slow the play back down, letting his O-line get back out in front, finally kicking it into a high gear and exploding upfield. Between the patience, total field vision, and twitchy movement skills, McCaffrey is a nightmare to try and tackle in the open field, constantly making men miss by getting them off balance and on their heels with this patent stutter-and-go body shake, proving he really is one of the most elusive runners with the ball in his hands of the class, both at any level of the field and at any position. I said earlier, his real value lies in his versatility, and here's why. McCaffrey is a natural ball catcher with soft hands that can be used out of the backfield and even out of the slot. With his directional quickness and different speed and tempos he moves at, McCaffrey will be a nightmare to defend for linebackers in the NFL, and you could argue is already a better route runner than the majority of receivers of this class alone. Don't blink. McCaffrey doesn't mess around, getting up to full speed in a heartbeat, turning any catch in stride to a home run when you least expect it. The final piece of that versatility comes in the return game, where McCaffrey might give Jabril Peppers a serious run for his money as the best return man in the nation. Just another way to get the ball in his hands and get your money's worth out of this big play machine. Now, obviously, he's not perfect by any means. Immediately when you look at him, you can't help but question his size and therefore what his toughness and durability will look like at the next level. McCaffrey was so quick in college, he was able to dance around a lot of big hits, but you wonder if that speed will be enough in the NFL. On top of that, I still have questions about how he will hold up in pass blocking. While I'll give him an incomplete grade for now because of my lack of pass blocking tape to assess, I will say his size and strength suggests he will struggle in this area, especially early on. He's a smart and highly efficient runner and surprised me with his ability in between the tackles, but that doesn't mean McCaffrey will ever be a 25 carry guy, nor should he. With 748 touches in 2 seasons, McCaffrey will come in as a rookie with a lot of miles already logged on the engine, meaning even as a first-round pick, he should be used somewhat sporadically and during the ideal down and distance situation. And when you say it out loud, it sounds like McCaffrey's just a glorified role player as a guy who can't be counted on to carry the load or be a focal point of an offense. He enters the league with legitimate size and strength questions. Even so, for my money, McCaffrey's elusiveness, vision in both the run, pass game, and special teams is worth the asking price and should be a major X factor for one lucky offense in a league that craves one-on-one mismatches. So where could he go with the Eagles supposedly out of the running back race early? I get goosebumps thinking about the damage Andrew Luck or Marcus Mariota could do with a weapon like McCaffrey out of the backfield. Of course, the Denver Broncos could try to keep it in the family after having great success with his father Ed for all those years under John Elway. But if you want a real dark horse wild card, how about the New Orleans Saints at pick number 11? Yeah, a team that was clearly looking for a spark out of the backfield last half of the season and could look to give Drew Brees as much help and weapons as possible during his final few years. McCaffrey could help replace Brandon Cooks as a legitimate weapon out of the slot, and with 4 picks in the top 76 selections, the Saints front office has to be thinking long and hard about grabbing a versatile offensive starter early on before focusing on the defense for the rest of the draft. Stay tuned for plenty more draft breakdowns presented by Zone Coverage. For now, I'm Luke Inman, signing out.